Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our little mini projects here. We're going to be using some more graphics, but last time we made some lines. This time we're going to make some shapes. So I'm just going to run this module here, and then I'll have the blank module in the background. This is what the end result is going to look like. And as you can see, we're just going to make some shapes, and those of you who like video games will probably already know what I'm making. And, of course, obviously that circle takes forever because it's actually 360 steps. Don't get too scared, though. So, obviously, we made ourselves a little PlayStation controller symbol here. So I'm just going to close it out, get this guy over here. How are we going to go and make those shapes? And they're very simple shapes, but obviously there were colors, there were designs, there was turning, there was pivoting, there was all this different sort of stuff. So obviously we're using turtles, so we're going to import ourselves some turtles. So save that, obviously. Now, here is where you can have multiple objects, okay? You can have multiple objects, all things. Like last time I just named one and had mover. Well, you know what? I can just have my square equals turtle dot turtle. I can also have something named, my circle equals turtle dot turtle. I can also have, my triangle equals turtle dot lowercase t, David, turtle dot turtle. And then I can also have my x equals turtle dot turtle. And in theory, I now have 4 different objects. I will have 4 different turtles moving at, quote, the same time. Now, obviously, they're not. They're taking sides because, line of code, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, as you saw, the ones I made going last and first and all that wound up being, which one went first. So, also, you're probably also used to by now setting a shape. In theory, I should be able to do this. I could make this a square and be able to do that. I should be able to go and put a circle in here, inside those brackets, and I should be able to do the same thing here to save myself a little bit of space. So let me just run this module and see if that will work, or if that will give me an error. Turtle has no attribute turtle. Okay, because I misspelled turtle. But yes, you can see the square is there, so it obviously went to the square and worked. I just misspelled the word turtle. So yes, so in theory, you no longer have to hit the word shape. You no longer have to do dot shape. You can just program it right in there inside those brackets. You could also probably go around and say, something like, pen size 5 or whatnot, but we're not going to get too complicated and put too much stuff inside these brackets. So we're still just going to separate this all out. So I'll just say, something like, my square dot pen size, 5. We'll just do that. And we'll say, my square dot pen color. Now, you're probably going, wait a minute, can I just do color? Yes, you can, and you can have multiple parts where you have the stroke and the fill different colors. I'm just going to specifically make this only the pen color for this objective right here. So, and of course, I'll do, my square dot pen up, because I don't want moving anything, and I'll just go to my square dot set position, and I'll go to a negative 250 and a 0. Put it on the left-hand side over there of the screen. Then I'll just go and do the same thing with, my circle, my triangle, my X, and I will just go and say, I'll move them around to different places. My circle dot pen size. You should already know how to do this sort of stuff from the last video. And remember that whatever you name it up there is what you need to name it up there every other time you use it. And of course, we are still using our little bit of... We're still using some new stuff. We're learning how to change the colors of the ink here, basically, by changing the pen color. Now, why am I doing pen up before I set position? Well, set position is going to move it on me. So, let me make sure I am... let's make sure that I am using... that I'm going to be having the pen up before I wind up having the position move. I don't want to accidentally draw things when I don't want to. And I'll go to my triangle. Pen size is going to be, 5 as well. I'm just going to keep making the pen size bigger just so it can be seen on the graphics easily for everyone. Dot pen color is going to be green. Now, I know Sony has basically did away with the colored buttons, it looks like, for the PlayStation 5 controller. So this is going to be like a retro PlayStation 2 controller or something. The fact that the PlayStation 2 is considered retro in this day and age is kind of scary to me. I remember the PlayStation 1. Oh, okay, let's actually... My triangle dot set position, and I'll put this at 0, 200. You're probably wondering why I didn't just put 250 every single way. Basically because I had tested that out and it did not even itself out because of the way things turn. So basically this is just me cutting out the bunch of trial and error of going, well, let's see here. What do I want to do here? Let's move it a little bit over some more, that sort of stuff. Pen up. And then of course my x dot set position, and I'll put it at 0 and negative 350. So we got everything all moving where it belongs. So if I run this module, I have, once it loads, I have, whoops, turtle is not part of setup, pen setup. What did I type? I typed pen setup somewhere instead of pen up. And this is where typos screw you up. Okay, so pen up. That's what I wanted, not pen setup. So let's run that again. And as you see, I have my different shapes. And you can even see the pen color, you got a little faint. There's a little pink around there, red around there, green around there, and blue around here. You have all that sort of stuff already existing. So, but obviously their insides are all black. So that's the difference between the stroke color, or the pen color, and the fill. The fill is the inside, the stroke is the outside, the perimeter, the edge. So we could in fact change all that and do that, but we'll do that in a later example. So what I'm going to do is, the very first thing is I'm just going to make the square move. And I'm going to make the square. So my square, because that's what I named it, dot pen down. And you know what? I'm also going to do this. I'm going to hide the turtle. I don't want to see it move, but for this situation, I'm going to just leave this blank, and I'm just going to say hide turtle here, just as a reminder for myself. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the turtle. I'm going to show you one way to do this, and then I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. So right now we're going to have, my square dot forward. It's going to move forward. So whenever that thing's moving, like how the arrow was pointing to the right the entire time or whatnot, it is naturally looking to the right whenever it happens. It will not move forward in occupation to us or the world view. It's going to move forward in the direction it's going. So if there's an arrow pointing to the right, forward is to the right. If the arrow is pointing up, forward is up. If the arrow is pointing to the left, forward is left, so on and so forth. So you will have whatever it is, whatever direction the object is looking at will be the way it goes. So I can move it with just forward and say move forward 100. Instead of having to set the position, I can just have it move forward 100 points relative to it. And then I will have, my square dot right. Now, right is not moving right. Right is turning right. And yes, you can have forward, you can have backward, you can have right, you can have left. And because it's a square, it's going to move 90 degrees. And then, if I do that 4 times, you will make yourself a square. So let's run this out. So everything moved, and now you'll see that turtle has no object called forward. Because I misspelled the word forward, I forgot an R. And this is why spelling is important. Not froward, forward. There we go. Run module. Here we go. And now you see that not only did that thing turn every single time, it turned and made the line. And you saw how it rotated when it did it. Now, here's the thing. That is a lot of code to make a square. I can cut this down to 3 lines. Okay? I can cut this down to that by simply saying a loop. So for, and it doesn't matter if I put I could put n. It's my counter. So for counter in range, well, there's 4 corners, so 4, that. We already know how to make for loops, right? I can just put this object in this sort of loop, run this module, and then it'll do the exact same thing, but this time with less steps, with less lines of code. And as I mentioned, hiding turtle, I will do that. So let me go and say my square, because that's the name of my object, dot hide turtle. So hiding the turtle will make the turtle invisible. So when I run this module, you'll see the square will actually disappear and become the square like that. Now, if I really wanted to, I could go and say afterwards, I can do my square dot show turtle, and the turtle will come back. I'm just gonna not do that. I'm gonna hide my turtle every single time. I don't want to see the pens. I don't want to see the shapes. So that's the square. Now for the rest, we can go and make the rest of them. So same idea behind it. My circle dot pen down because it's already there. And then of course my circle dot hide turtle. And then of course for counter in range. And because it's a circle, there's 360 degrees, there's 360 turns in it. I will just, my circle dot forward 1. And then of course my circle dot right 1. And it will make itself a perfect circle. And then same with my triangle dot pen down. My triangle helps when I remember what object I'm on. Dot hide turtle. And then of course we have ourselves another 4, but for our counter in range 3. Because there's 3 turns, there's 3 sides of a triangle, and I'm going to do my triangle dot forward, and I will make it 100, and then my triangle dot left, because it's 120. 360 divided by 3 is 120. Now, for my x, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to instead make the program write something. So, honestly, I probably don't even need to do my x.pen down. I probably don't need to do that to write it, but just for the sake of remembering to put our pen down, we'll do that. And I'll do my x.hide turtle. And then I'm going to do this. My x, which is my object again, dot write. W-R-I-T-E. And it's going to have different things. I'm going to put in what I want it to write, and then what I want to have in it. So I want to physically write the letter X. So I put that in my single quotes. You could probably get away with double quotes on that one. And then I'm going to change the font. Whoops, I'm going to change the font, and I can change it to, you know, Times New Roman or whatever. I'm going to just do Arial because the sans serif font. I like sans serif. And I'm going to make it 100 points big. And then, of course, if I wanted to, I could put normal or italics or whatever, but I'm going to bold it. I got a spare there. So now, instead of using my turtle to draw something, I'm using my turtle to literally type out text. And I can make that text big and small, so everyone who always had the problem of, man, all my text on my print statements are so teeny tiny and whatnot, well, here's how you can make text really big. So, save it, run it, and we will have the end result, where the square gets made, the circle and its 360 steps will get made, then the triangle will get made, and then the X will just print itself out with a letter. You'll see that it's different from the rest of them. If I wanted to, I could have drawn the X, but I want to showcase you guys something else that this program can do with the physical typing and writing. So, we've learned colors, we learned how to use positioning of the objects themselves to make stuff instead of having to set positions. We did this all in loops, because could you imagine doing this 360 times, that code? Yeah. And, of course, how to write things out. So that's a lot of stuff that we just went over in this one video. So, come back on Thursday, and we're going to have 2 more videos that will showcase how this all goes. Now, this is, of course, if I divide the online portion into Tuesday, Thursday. If not, if you feel like jumping ahead, you can jump ahead all you want. So I'll see you in the next video.